Global happenings today. We communicate. We analyze global news.
Hello, great people. Welcome back to our channel. The drama that happened yesterday in Wadata Plaza when the BOT meeting was held has been addressed by the BOT chairman, and we're going to be looking at it. Don't forget, all of this revolve around the national secretary's position. We saw how Okoye was thrown out of the meeting, but information have it that he was invited back and he continued with his duty of taking the minutes of the meeting. But then the BOT a position was taken, and that position is what we're going to be looking at, and that position was taken in respect to the case surrounding national secretaryship of the People Democratic Party. We're going to be looking at that in a jiffy. Also, in related development, the Northerners have a Northern group. Let me not say Northerners. Northern group have risen up to address what is happening to Bala Mohammed and Dogara with some other person. Don't forget that a few days ago, Dogara took out time to lambast Bala Mohammed over what he considered to be an ungrateful attitude towards the help offered by Wike to Bala Mohammed and all the Baha going on. You get to hear their position. But first of all, let's look at what PDP. According to the news, the People Democratic Party (PDP) Board of Trustees on Wednesday said machinery is in place to resolve the crisis over the position of the party's national secretary. PDP BOT set up a committee led by Kabiru Tanimu Turaki to interface with the parties, studying the situation and report to the board for further action. There is a contest between Samuel Anyanwu and Sunday Okoye over who occupies the position of PDP National Secretary. The position became contentious after Anyanwu left to contest the Imo State governorship election, which he lost. Upon his return, Okoye was endorsed by the party to fill up the position. On December 20, 2024, an appeal court in Enugu upheld the decision of the High Court, removing Anyanwu as PDP secretary and affirming Okoye as authentic secretary. However, during a communique issued at the end of its 79th meeting, the BOT said that the Board of Trustees at its 79th meeting today, Wednesday, January 29, 2025, critically assessed the state of affairs of the nation and the party and resolved as follows: that the BOT expressed serious concern over the unresolved challenges facing the party, especially as related to the disagreement within the National Working Committee. The BOT called on the members of the National Working Committee, all organs, leaders, and critical stakeholders of our party across board to rise above personal, group, or sectional interests and place the stability, unity, sustenance, and progress of the party and its ideal above all other consideration. In the effort to resolve the current crisis over the position of the National Secretary of the party, which is presently before the court, the BOT set up a committee led by Barrister Kabiru Tanimu Turaki, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, to interface with the parties, studying the situation and report to the board for further action. The acting national chairman assured the BOT that the National Executive Committee meeting will hold as scheduled in February 2025 to address all pertinent issues and reaffirm our shared commitment to the unity, discipline, and ideal that bind us together as members of PDP. Also, the Nigerian Democratic Front (NDF) has cautioned the former Speaker of the House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara and the Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Toga against betraying Northern interest in the lead-up to the 2027 presidential elections. The group alleged that their recent criticism of Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed is a calculated strategy aimed at undermining the region's political influence and preventing it from producing a viable presidential candidate. In a statement signed by National Spokesperson Engineer Ikena Eli Ezenikwe. The NDF urged Northerners to disregard their action and call for an end to the practice of political mercenaries. According to the forum, and I quote, he said, "These are not men fighting for justice or accountability. Governor Mohammed may not be perfect, no politician is, but they stand out as a courageous leader who has chosen to align himself with the people rather than with corrupt political elite. His opposition to governmental maladministration and his willingness to confront injustice have made him a target for political opportunists. Instead of joining forces with Governor Bala Mohammed to advocate for the region's interests, these two men have opted to align themselves with those who seek to marginalize the North. The era of political mercenary masquerading as patron must come to an end. The questionable tactics of Dogara and Toga must be denounced and disregarded for the greater good of the region." Wow, but our focus seems to be on the issue of the national secretary. That's the position of the national secretary in PDP. Right now, it seems as though everything is going to be handled amicably, and this was what we were expecting. That's why there's always need for this kind of meeting to be called, where key stakeholders will be on seat to make, to determine what the way forward, if there must be coordination for the party. Every time the party is faced with factional interests, this kind of thing is sure to happen. And for me, it spells doom, because APC has taken their position that if a party cannot resolve common issues that has to do with the party, how would they be able to lead the people? But interestingly, my colleague is in the house, and we just want to deliberate on this. What's your position on the fact that the BOT has appointed someone, a senior advocate of Nigeria, to dive into the issue and report back to them? Do you think that the issue of faction and factional interest will be dealt with and the proper thing being done?
A lot is at stake. Don't forget that when you talk about the issue of factional leadership and all, they are all card-carrying member of PDP. Just that one thing or the other had led them to go into factions. But be that as it may, talking about what Bala Mohammed did, one would agree that at some point, based on what was said by Dogara, no one knows what tomorrow holds. Bala Mohammed may have run, based on what he said, Bala Mohammed must run to Wike then. Never knew that a day like this, where conscience and where called to truth and trying to pay back a deed that was done. And now is now torn between that. And I could still remember during this whole thing, at the beginning, Bala Mohammed was slow in responding to the Rivers issue. But then he was, and he still is, the chairman of the Governors Forum. He cannot, in all honesty, remain silent and be on the fence, regardless of the favor given to him in the time past. As the governors, the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, he must, in all honesty, react. And he had to stand for the truth. And that would also explain why a lot of PDP members are standing in the fence. Maybe at some point in their political career or the other, Wike must have come to their aid at some point, and that's why they are finding it quite difficult to look at anybody and everybody in the face and call a spade a spade. And that's why they're calling on some legal luminary to step in and do the needful. I think at some point everybody needs to open up on everything, whether I help or not, and do the right thing, what the Constitution says, regardless of if they have been helped at some point in their political career or not. But the right thing must be done. Maybe they say their apologies afterwards, but for now, let the right thing be done so that the PDP does not fade into oblivion.
All right, thank you so much. That's where we would like to leave it. Let's meet in our comment section and talk more on this. What's the standpoint respect to what is brewing in the People Democratic Party? Do you think that there will be a selfless decision being made by the party so that in future it can handle the issues?